What's up, guys? It's Orkez here, and today is the big day. We got the official Daytona 500 yesterday, and we've got it. We got the winners, we got the losers. It was a very exciting race, and let's just get into it. Yeah, like I said, the race was very fun to watch. First official Daytona 500, being a committed NASCAR fan. Like I said last year, I didn't fully be devoted to NASCAR until I think late spring or something. It was sometime after the Talladega race, I'm pretty sure. I don't even know. I don't even remember how, but I just became a fan, and sometime either early summer or late spring, I just became a fan. And I don't know how, but I am now. So this is my official Daytona 500 as a committed NASCAR Cup Series fan. And I gotta say, it was a very good race. I really enjoyed it a lot. And I didn't know what to expect. We had that wreck in the very beginning. Freaking Harrison Burton and Carson Hocevar wrecked out. Very unfortunate. Kaz Grala did too, but he's not a full-time driver. But it was something. And so as soon as I see that wreck in Burton with insanely heavy damage, I was like, oh no, I hope this isn't a wreck fest. And fortunately, it wasn't. After that wreck, we didn't have another cause for caution until eight laps left. So we had how many laps was that in green besides the cautions? Besides the stage cautions, it was definitely over 150. So over 150 green flag laps, probably over 160 green flag laps in this race. Oh man, what a treat! I can't. That was just great. So many good racing moments. So many different strategies that they're running. A ton of three wide racing they did at the very beginning, and then that wreck happened because Keselowski got into the bumper of Nemechek. But I didn't know what the race was going to entail from there. But there was a ton of different pit stop strategies, and some I saw this just today. I didn't even realize it during the race, but they were going 175 miles an hour so they could save fuel for the stage. That's insane to me. I didn't even notice, because I remember the race, AJ Allmendinger kind of got behind but was catching them because they were running so much slower than he was. He was 5 miles an hour over them even when he was out of the draft. That's crazy. But then then they started employing the strategies, and eventually Chevrolet came out on top, and Chase Elliott was able to win stage one. And I didn't know what to think. First of all, Logano and McDowell were leading a good amount of the races, but then McDowell had some electrical engine problems or whatever. That was kind of hard to see, but it happens. But I hope it doesn't happen frequently for him. Justin Haley was running good too, and then he had some mechanical problems. I hope that doesn't continue to happen for him. He was running good, and he was running good for he was running good in the dual race, I believe, as well, and he ran really good at the Coliseum. So could be a surprising year for Justin Haley, but we'll have to wait and see. I'll get to this later in the week, but we got another drafting track that they've made. Atlanta, it used to not be as big of a drafting track, but now I'm pretty sure it's a drafting track, the plate restrictors, so it's almost the same thing as Daytona 500, except I think Atlanta's a little bit shorter, and the track layout is definitely different, obviously, but it's going to be interesting. So 2 plate restrictor draft tracks in a row to start the season. That's crazy. But back to the race here. So yeah, like I said, so many different strategies in stage one, and then it kind of got a little more clean in stage two. They were running mostly the same, but I think it was this time the Fords were coming out strong. I'm pretty sure Logano was back up front. Blaney and Cindric were also out up front. The Penske team was running really good in stage two, and I'm pretty sure for a lot of stage three as well. But Yeah, they were running really good, and then Blaney made an insane move on his own teammate to win the stage. There's a little bit of controversy during earlier the race with Penske. After the caution, I'm pretty sure Logano and Cindric pitted, but Blaney didn't. So then the next green flag pit stop came around, and then Blaney had to pit with him, and that like really screwed him over. I'm pretty sure he was pissed about that. But he worked it on stage 2. He's like, nope, I'm not cooperating with my teammates anymore. I'm winning the stage on my own. So he made a wild move on his own teammate. I was a little concerned there, but he made it work. They made it work, and they were able to do it. Other drivers I want to point out that were running really good, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin were running really good for most of the race. But unfortunately, I think Kyle Busch ran into some pit stop problems. They didn't get his lug nut on one point, but he didn't really let that hinder him. He was still, after that, I'm pretty sure he was still in the top 5 at one point, but just didn't work out for him. Hamlin, he really didn't have any problems, I don't think, but yeah, then that happened. The big one. I'll get into stage 3 now, but we were running 3 wide, crazy passes. Oh, it was such good racing. Some of the best, I've looked at online, and people are saying this is some of the best Daytona racing they've seen in like half a decade or even a decade. Like, it was just great racing. Great restrictor plate racing, great draft racing, and people were very excited for this race. People were saying it's one of the best Daytona 500 racing they've watched until the last laps. And that's when they were still running 3 wide. Bowman was pushing Byron hard at some points, and he got a weird bump on him. He turned Byron a little bit, turned a little inside into Keselowski, who got turned into the outside and took out basically half the competition. And yeah, half the competition. And then by then it was over. Truex is gone. Keselowski is gone. Logano's gone. Hamlin's gone. Kyle Busch is gone. So many good racers were wrecked out of the race, and it did not go over well for a lot of drivers. It basically ruined, I would say, more than half the contending drivers' race. It was just unfortunate. But that's what happens when you race like that for like 30 laps. Like, they were running 3 wide for such a long time, and they were driving like that for such a long time. And I remember watching those last laps. I was nearly on my feet. Like, I was talking to myself. I was like freaking geeking out over it. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I knew it. Because I was saying, like, to myself at, like, lap 13, I was like, they can't keep racing like this. There's no way. They're not going to make it to the checkered flag like this. And, yeah, sure enough, expected, the big one happens. It takes almost everyone out. Blaney, I forgot to mention, got wiped out again. Man, Blaney and Daytona just does not work well together. It just does not work out. Wrecked out. Had a huge wreck in the Coca-Cola, I think, 400, where Priest had the rollover. But Blaney was arguably as bad of a wreck as Priest was during that race. Just not as insane. Like, he got wrecked hard, and then during his dual race got wrecked hard. And then this race got wrecked hard. People thought his wrist might have been like broken or sprained after that, but he said it was fine. I would say this wreck here was probably the least worst out of all of the other wrecks he had. The dual race and the other Daytona race in the fall or late summer was pretty bad. They were definitely worse than this wreck, but still, you got to feel for Blaney. Even though he's the last year's champion, he just can't catch a break with Daytona. But then here comes the controversy. Chastain was in the lead when that happened and maintained the lead, but Byron was able to survive the push by Bowman. He didn't wreck, still kept going. Christopher Bell made it out okay. Alex Bowman, the pusher, made it out okay. And yeah, and basically, so yeah, Byron and Bowman both made it out. All the Hendrick cars made it out. Larson made it out okay. Elliott made it out okay. So it was Hendrick's race to win, and what do you know? At the last lap, they win it. Bowman and Byron were in the lead. Chastain fell a little bit behind, and right before the white flag, checkered flag, for the last lap on lap 2, right before the finish line, Chastain tries to make a move to the center between Cindric or LaJoie, I think, and Byron, and it just did not work out for him. Got spun, and then Cindric got spun as well, and that was the race. Apparently they crossed the finish line before the caution came out, so that meant that whole last lap was run under caution, and Byron was in the lead when the caution flag ran. Bowman was right next to him, but according to when the caution came out, Byron was in the lead, and he won the race. I saw a lot of Bowman fans online that weren't happy. A lot of fans in general weren't happy about the call, but hey, if the caution comes out on the last lap, that's it. Like, people were wanting overtime, but you can't always get what you want. It's like, either do you want the race to end in overtime, or do you want to end it before overtime? Fans just can't get what they want. I mean, I guess everyone would prefer to run the race not under caution and just have it 500 laps instead of 497.5 or 502 or 503, but it's just, yeah. But yeah, a lot of people weren't happy about that race. I was kind of, I don't know, what's the word, indecisive about how I liked it. I was like, yeah, it was okay, but yeah, that's how it goes. The racing, like I said, though, was amazing. I really liked it. I'll just go over the standings right now. I'll go in the last first. So yeah, Hocevar, Burton, and Grallo were wrecked in that early caution. Was not able to make it. Austin Dillon had some problems. I'm pretty sure he was partially in that wreck as well, and got hit. Had some problems. Continued to have problems. So he was down a ton of laps. McDowell, like I said, also had some problems, electrical engine problems, so he didn't do that good. And then here comes the big one. Todd Gilliland, Daniel Suarez, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Blaney, and Tyler Reddick all did not finish because of the big one. So that, how many races is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 racers did not finish because of that wreck. Insane. And then we get to 28th, Jimmy Johnson. He was involved in that early wreck too with Harrison Burton. He didn't get hit as hard. He was still able to run the race, but he finished a couple laps down. Anthony Alfredo finished a couple laps down. Didn't expect him to have a great day. Justin Haley, like I said, had some problems, so he finished some laps down. Josh Berry, I think, had some pit road problems. He did get spun on pit road during one of the first cautions, and I think that was basically it for him. Riley Herbst might have gotten in one of the wrecks. I don't remember. He might have been involved in the big one. Ryan Preece also had some pit road problems. He was running really good, though. Even though he was a lap down, he was still in the third spot for a lot of stage 3. He ran a good race. I think he would have done really good, but just unfortunate that those problems arose. Cindric and Chastain finished 22nd and 21st. They got wrecked on the last lap, like I said. Got spun on the last lap, so they wasn't able to get a good finish. David Reagan, a part-time driver for RFK, got top 20, so not bad. Denny Hamlin actually did not get DNF'd from that wreck, but still didn't run as good, though. Finished 19th. Chris Buescher finished 18th. Ty Gibbs finished 17th. Daniel Hemmer got a 16th. Not bad for his first race. Well, he's not a rookie, I don't think, but good race back. Martin Truex Jr. was involved in the early wreck, still finished 15th though. Chase Elliott was on the lead draft of cars, but something happened. He must have just made a bad move or something and just finished 14th. He was in the top 5 though after that wreck, but yeah, like I said, he just must have made a bad move. Zane Smith, not bad start for his first full-time Cup race, got 13th. Hocevar cannot say the same. Wrecked out on the first 5 laps, unfortunate for him. Kyle Busch actually made it out okay from the wreck, but he must have just had problems. He finished 12th. I'm pretty sure he was still in the top 10 at one point during the final green flag after the caution. Kyle Larson finished 11th. I think he had some damage. And then we got Chase Briscoe and Noah Gragson, 2 Stewart-Haas drivers, finished 9th and 10th. This, I'm pretty sure, is Noah Gragson's first top 10 finish in his career. And you remember he ran a couple races last year, or a good amount of races last year. Just did not get going at all, but hey, not bad for him. Gets a 9th place finish. Not bad. One of my favorite drivers, Eric Jones, finishes 8th, along with his teammate Nemechek, who finishes 7th. So 2 Legacy Motor cars finished 7th and 8th. Not bad. AJ Allmendinger gets 6th. Part-time driver now and still is racing like he's a full-time Cup Series driver. Gets a 6th place finish. I'd say the most shocking ones right here are Bubba Wallace Jr. and Corey LaJoie with a 5th and 4th finish. I'm pretty sure Corey LaJoie made a final move on Cindric. They had some harsh words to say to each other after the race, both pretty upset at each other. But LaJoie was able to race his way to the 4th spot, but came at the cost of Cindric wrecking. Bubba Wallace Jr., like I said, just quiet day for Bubba. I'm pretty sure he was running up front a good amount for parts of the race, but hey, gets a top 5 finish. He's gotten a ton of top 5 finishes at Daytona, including 2 top 2s. So great for him. Christopher Bell got a top 3. So he did great. He did really good. Yeah, nothing to say about him. Just ran a quiet race, kind of the same as Bubba Wallace, and he was up front, I'm pretty sure, as well. But yeah, he was able to do it. Gets a top 3. And then Alex Bowman got 2nd. So close to winning that race. You can look at the picture of the time of the caution. They are right next to each other, but it is kind of obvious that Byron is ahead at the time of the caution. So Byron, like I said, the winner. He probably locks himself into the playoffs with this race, and I'm pretty sure he will continue to lock himself in the race. 6 wins last season, and he backs it up. Yeah, 6 wins, championship 4, and he backs it up with a Daytona 500 win. So Byron definitely deserves to be here. Definitely deserves to be in the best team, arguably, in the Cup Series with Hendrick Motorsports as they get a 40th anniversary win. This is actually their 40th anniversary. 40 years ago today, they ran their 40 years ago ran their first Daytona 500, and they get a Hendrick win, first time since 2014 they did it, and that was with Earnhardt Jr. So great race, like I said, though. A lot of interesting things. I would be on the lookout for a lot of these racers that finished up front. I would say possibly Stewart-Haas could make a surprising comeback this year. Noah Gragson, like I said, with a top 10, Briscoe top 10, and Priest and Barry, I think, ran really good, except that they just had those pit road problems. But yeah, and like I said, I think Bubba Wallace Jr. will make the playoffs. Not very surprised to see that he had a top 5, but Legacy also 7 and 8 positions. Eric Jones, Hunter Nemechek. Even though Nemechek got spun early, he was still able to make something out of this. And Eric Jones gets a top 10 as well. So yeah, great races from them. Also, I forgot to mention Daniel Hemrick. He ran pretty good during the beginning of the race, too. He found himself in like the top 5 spots for a lot of the race. Did really good. And yeah, that's just all I have to say about this. We got another drafting style track next week. Like I said, it's going to be fun. Hopefully weather permits and we're able to see the race on Sunday with qualifiers on Saturday. It's going to be a fun one, so I'll probably see you guys with the preview on Saturday. So yeah, that's my Daytona 500 review, and I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and consider watching my other NASCAR content and Star Wars content that's coming up. I might have another video today or tomorrow discussing the preview or review for the first 3 Bad Batch episodes that are coming out. We'll see you then.